some video while you were down there. First of all, tell me how close to the buildings you were.
It was probably about 2 to 3 blocks away, and they were moving most of the folks back. Near me were probably 20 or 30 cops and emergency personnel. And at this point, we were thinking, wow. And then suddenly this cloud started moving real fast, as you can see. And it was a dead sprint for about 20 of us. I found the corner, and the cloud blew me into a car across the street. I crawled under a car. You could hear, it was pitch black, you could hear chunks of concrete falling all around you.
You were under a car?
I got blown into a car and then crawled under a car.
How difficult was it to breathe at that point?
Very difficult. It was probably pitch black for about 2 minutes. I was covering my mouth. It was, for a while you didn't hear anything, and then you heard a lot of moans and groans. You know, that it was really just a canyon, and the entire force of the blast came shooting down it much faster than you would imagine. As you watched it fall, you thought.
You say you heard moans and groans. Did you see many of the injured around you as when the dust finally settled somewhat, so that you could get out from under the car?
I was really kind of in shock and stumbled around for a little bit. You could see that there were some people there. Everybody that was in the area was pretty affected. There was no emergency personnel helping anybody. Everybody that was there was in pretty bad shape at the moment. And as I started to wander farther and farther away from it, you could see more people coming. The cops and the firemen down there were just incredible, and you know, probably still are down there. So.
Obviously, it was a very frightening situation for you to be in. Did you have any idea? I mean, were they anticipating that because of the size of the hole in this building, that the whole building might come crashing down?
That wasn't my sense. I mean, it was obviously a terrible tragedy, but I felt that I was down in Oklahoma City about 3 hours after that blast happened, and I felt that things were beginning to ramp down. The emergency, obviously there was a lot of tragedy going on, but I felt like the cops and the firemen were sort of beginning to get the situation under control. They were moving everybody back. By and large, the streets were cleared. There was a lot of emergency tape, and then when that started, we were all surprised. You can hear the voices saying, "Move back." I mean, there were a lot of people on the street.
Did you see the triage units at work and people being helped in the immediate vicinity? Because one of our first concerns when this happened was, what about the people who were outside the building who were in serious shape?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what was going on right in the immediate area. I assume there were, I hope there was no one around. As I said, I sort of stumbled away from it, and by the time I got 3 or 4 blocks away and the air cleared enough so that you could see, we were then all being pushed away. But I mean, you could still see the remains of the plane crash from earlier that day. I mean, I shot some video of a huge airplane wheel. There were body parts, you know, all over West Street. I mean, it was insane down there.
Well, Christian, thanks so much for coming by. We're glad you're safe, of course, as well. Meanwhile, we're going to go back to Washington, where Bob Hager